Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Happy Vlogmas. Okay, today we are talking about 10 books that I would give as gifts. And I will kind of specify a little bit on what kind of person would like this book, but I generally, an overarching theme is kind of for the non or very casual reader. So I think these are kind of general crowd pleaser books. The first book is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. And our main character, well, first of all, this takes place in the year 2044, where everyone pretty much lives their life virtually in something called the Oasis, which is a virtual universe where you can basically live. You sit at home with your stuff on, and then you live virtually. You just sit there. And you're kind of unconscious, and your conscious mind is in the Oasis. And the very mysterious and revered kind of creator of the Oasis has put puzzles and things in the game. It's not a game, in the universe, but it feels, there are games, part of it is like a gamified kind of thing. And Wade Watts, our main character, he finds one of these puzzles, and that opens up a huge world for him. And he has friends that he in the virtual friends that he also goes on this super adventure with, and goes through all these trials and games and finding puzzles and trying to figure puzzles out. And it's such a big, huge book, imagination wise. It was made into a movie, which was fine, but the thing that really sets this kind of book apart, and I would say is great for the casual or non-reader, is the nostalgia of this book. So this book is for someone who grew up in the 80s or loves 80s references. There's so much 80s in this in this book. You'll understand it when you read it, but it's for the 80s person. If you have that person in your life and you're I want to get them a book, this is the book to get them. And or any kind of retro person that's interested in retro things, this is great. Or also someone that's into gaming, I think this would also work for. Yeah, but it's just so much IP from the 80s, which they had to change a lot for the movie because they couldn't get the rights to all the IP that they used in the book. So that is one reason the movie wasn't as good as the book, I would say. But yeah, Ready Player One for the 80s retro gamer person in your life. Now this next book, I've sung its praises on this channel, and I will continue to do so, and that is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. It's my favorite Andy Weir book, and this is basically, they're making a movie about it now, so it could be topical. I think it's coming out next year, so this would be a great book to buy this Christmas for somebody. It is hard. I describe it as hard sci-fi with a heart. It is actually very readable, even though I would consider it hard sci-fi. But it makes you laugh, cry, all the things. It is just so good. So basically, Ryland Grace is a sole survivor on a mission to save the world, to save Earth, because of reasons. So he's out there trying to figure out something that will save his home planet. And he has some amnesia that is, amnesia. He doesn't know kind of the whole story of why he's there. So he has to unravel all of that. He's in this spaceship, light years away from Earth. And he might get some help from an unexpected ally. That's all I can say, because I really don't want to ruin too much of this book. But yeah, outer space, problem solving, funny, heartwarming, great ending. So if anybody in your life really likes a sci-fi, but likes that emotional connection in their sci-fi as well, this is perfect. This is one of my favorite books of all time. The next book I would recommend is Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. Now, this is a completed trilogy. I think I've read them all. They're all so funny. So this is about three Chinese, high pedigree Chinese families, and how they all interact with each other, and the gossip and the backstabbing, and just absolutely outrageous situations that happen with these families. So Rachel is Chinese, but she's from a lower middle class family, I think. But she's in a relationship with Nick, who is part of one of these really elite Chinese families. And so she agrees to go and meet his family and everything. And the adventure begins. This is an outrageous, laugh out loud, funny book. They made a movie of this as well. But there's also 2 more books if you really liked this one. So this one I would suggest for somebody that really likes a immersive, funny book. Like, and also, like, the characters, even the main characters aren't even the highlights of this book. There's a huge ensemble, a huge cast of characters in this book. So someone that likes an ensemble cast that is like really well developed, and there's like so many cool characters that are just so funny. So someone that likes funny ensemble and also easy to read, and wants something really funny. Another one that I've sung the praises of forever is Stars Over Clear Lake by Loretta Ellsworth. Now, this is a historical fiction. This is a much lesser known. There's no movie or TV show being developed for this, even though I wish there was. And yeah, it's a World War II historical fiction. Lorraine lives on a farm with her family, and World War II happens and her brother enlists. And also because her brother is gone and a lot of other, obviously, men are gone, her family enlists in a program where German POWs come to the States and work on farms to do like the manual labor that American farms or factories, I guess, don't have because everyone's gone out of the country. So against his wife's wishes, Lorraine's dad kind of feels like he has to do this to keep the farm afloat. So I think it's 3 POWs come to live on their, or come to like work on their farm. And she gets to know one in particular, a really young kid, a young man, who, was just kind of as a matter of circumstance was part of this war, and he's not a bad person. And they kind of become friendly, and maybe some feelings develop. So some things happen in the book that make it much harder for them to be friends, let alone more. And yeah, and eventually the war is going to end, and he's going to be taken away. And then there's also a little bit of a love triangle with him, and then the like all-American good boy that her mom really is like pushing her towards, that she does have a crush on, that she has had a crush on before all this happened. And, she really likes him, and he might actually be starting to pay attention to her now. So yeah, there's a little bit of a love triangle there. Amazing. I just love this book so much. I want to reread it over and over again. So this would be for anyone in your life that like likes historical fiction. And even if they like historical fiction and they've read a lot, they might not have read this book because it's actually not super popular, which is crazy to me. But yeah, so romance, World War II, historical fiction, or someone that would really like to dip their toe in that kind of thing, because there is a lot of romance, but it's not, there's a lot of other stuff to talk about and a lot of other stuff going on in this book. So it's not just like a straight romance. So anyone that's kind of dipping their toe or you think would like any kind of like World War II era stuff, this would be a good book for them. The next book I also love, and that is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. So this is a kind of angsty second chance romance, childhood friends to lovers. So if anybody in your life is interested in that, this would be a good book for them. Now, this is a pretty popular one, so if somebody is really into those, I would say they might have read this already. But if it's somebody's dipping their toe in, then this would be a good book. So this is about Macy and Elliot, and they kind of grow up together. I think she, like, it's one of those like beach summer, like summer house romances where she comes for the summer, every summer, and then they, they're friends, and then they're more. And then break up, badness, something happens, years go by, and they kind of come back into each other's lives, and they have to really piece together everything that happened and break down all the like hurt between the two of them to see if they can pick up where they left off, kind of. So I absolutely love this. A lot of angst, heartbreak, it's grief. It's like, but it's bittersweet. It's such a good book. So this is definitely one of my favorite romances. The next book is a classic Taylor Jenkins read, and that is Malibu Rising. So if somebody is just getting into Taylor Jenkins Reid or like wants to get into kind of these types of books, I would say Malibu Rising is a great book. A good beach read, set in the 80s, kind of like elite, rich, Nepo babies. So if anybody that would kind of like that kind of book, this would be it. So this takes place in the summer of 1983, I believe. Yeah. And so the children of this famous singer, they throw a end of year party every year at their Malibu like mansion. And this year the party ends with the house burning down, or at least a fire like engulfing the house. And then it kind of goes back, and then we like see how I think it's just like one day earlier in the day, how the day kind of progresses with these siblings and like what they're hiding, like the conflicts they're going to have with each other, conflicts outside of their sibling relationships with their spouses, and all that. And it kind of all comes to a head at this party. So a lot of like family dynamics. I would say there's a little bit element of like found family. Yeah, a lot of like sibling family dynamics in this book. So if that's something also that you can add to someone that's trying to dip their toe into Taylor Jenkins Reid. Okay, for those of you that love to cry when reading a book like me, I'm going to recommend Shark Heart by Emily Hayback. So yes, this is for the person in your life that I would say loves animals, loves romance, loves heartbreak, loves a good angst in their book. All right, so this is about Lewis and Wren, and in their first year of marriage, Lewis receives a rare diagnosis, and in this world that this is set, people can like basically when they get this diagnosis where they turn into an animal, and Lewis gets the diagnosis that he's going to turn into a great white shark. So slowly they have to grapple with they will no longer, when this is done, they won't be together anymore because he's going to have to like be integrated into the ocean and live there. So like, for instance, like if you were to turn into an elephant, they would have to like integrate you into a herd so you could like live with other elephants. But with Lewis, he like, starts having a hard time breathing air. He wants to eat only like raw fish, like stuff like that. And his face starts changing, and it's just like losing this person. She's losing her husband and he's losing her before he's actually gone. So this will make you cry. This book will make you cry in the best way. It is so sweet. There's also like kind of like a second part to it, like in the first book, like in this book, there's kind of like a second part to it where it's about him adjusting to that life and like a different perspective than just like the human perspective, if that makes sense. I don't want to spoil it, but Shark Heart, if you need a tearjerker. The next book is like for my pure romance lovers, and this is Funny Story by Emily Henry. This is by far my favorite Emily Henry book, and I would recommend this, to someone who's dipping their toe in romance or has not read any Emily Henry. Forced Proximity, beautiful. All right, so this is about Daphne, who's getting engaged. She's getting married. She's like right before her wedding, and then her husband, or fiance, calls off the wedding because he's going to like run off with his female best friend. And they owned a house together. Well, he actually owned it. So she's out of somewhere to live and totally distraught. She finds this all like the day after their like bachelorette party. And so she finds a place to live, and that is with Miles, who is the female best friend's ex-partner. So they both got left and their partners ran off together. So yeah, he's not doing well. She's not doing well. They're just trying to pick up the pieces of their lives. And I don't know. Maybe something happens. I just loved this book so much because one of those a-holes is going to come crawling back. And how is that going to be dealt with? So loved it, loved it, loved it. Perfect romance. The next book is for your literary fiction lover. This is a pretty popular book, but if they haven't read this is like a perfect one. 5 stars, like 5 stars. Like a great cast of characters, so like an ensemble cast. Literary fiction, and that is The Wedding People by Alison Espach, and that is about Phoebe, who shows up at this hotel dressed to the nines. This is a hotel that she wanted to go to for her honeymoon, but they didn't. She got kind of talked out of it by her husband, and I won't say why she's there, but she's the only person at the hotel that's not part of this wedding. Everybody, all the other rooms are booked for this wedding, and she kind of gets mistaken as a guest, and she kind of gets enmeshed in this like family's wedding, and becomes friends with the bride, and all of this, and like all of the drama behind the wedding, and she kind of like inserts, not willingly kind of, but it kind of is inserted into this whole drama around this wedding, and that's a very simplistic description of the book, but it's so good. It's really also about like the path that you never thought you would take, like how you have one kind of path in life and then whoop, takes you another way. So a kind of like unexpected paths in life is something that's interesting to a reader. This would be a good book. The last book I was given as a gift is Behind Every Good Man by Sarah Goodman Confino. And this is for your retro, kind of political, but not about really like the issues about like campaigning, and also Miss Maisel. So if anybody in your life likes Miss Maisel, this is this. But instead of comedy, it's about politics. And when I say this is like a real feel-good, comfy read, and I say the word politics, like that does not seem like it could be possible, but it is. So don't be scared of it. Don't be scared of it when I say politics. So in 1962, Beverly finds her husband in a very compromised position, kind of like in Miss Maisel, and yeah, they separate. So her husband works as a campaign manager for someone that's running for re-election for Senate. Yeah, for the Senate. And she's grew up in a very politically affluent family. Her dad is a senator. And so she's been around politics all her life and know a lot. Like she's picked up a lot, has a lot of great ideas that she had given her husband. So to kind of get back at him for cheating on her, she joins her husband's like competitor's campaign and wants to help him win just to stick it to her ex-husband. But with time, she comes to realize that she has a lot to offer. She has a lot of good ideas. She has a real knack and a talent for campaign management and getting people to turn out and like getting the message across. That she has a real gift for this. And also that this guy that she's campaigning for, it's more than just getting back at her ex-husband. He's a good person and she thinks he could really do good things for people. So she actually really believes in him being candidate as well. So good. So good, so comfy, so satisfying. So something, I know, and it's weird that I use the word political in this like book, but you want something that like something really like low, really it feels low stakes. The way it's written, it really does feel low stakes. And it's just very cozy, satisfying woman coming into her own, discovering her worth. It's great. So those are 10 books that I would personally gift the non or casual reader in my life. So I thought this might be helpful for you. Please subscribe if you haven't already. In the description box below, you will find my Goodreads, Bookstagram, wish list, all the things. I will see you tomorrow for another video for Vlogmas. And I'll see you next time. Bye.